Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Aussie Starcraft as we bring you a continuation in our casting of IEM Cologne that took place very recently, and what a fantastic tournament it's been thus far. Just some absolutely amazing games. We put a few up on the channel, and my apologies in my fatigue from a long flight home from Japan. I actually managed to cast an entire game on normal mode without actually noticing the speed, and that was a touch embarrassing. Super sorry, guys, for that that misclick at the start of that game. Unfortunately, the game was cast in normal mode, and because of just how tired I was from the plane ride home, managed to completely miss that, unfortunately. So apologies for everyone who had the torture of watching a game at old school pace instead of the regular faster mode. And I hope you enjoyed it anyway. There were some fantastic moments in that game between Classic and Pult, particularly his earliest press. But anyway, I'll let you go and watch it for yourselves. There's a number of games from that series up in the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed them, and my apologies again for the inconvenience of the game speed. But I want to get back into this series. This is the second set from the round of 8. In the top left-hand corner of Heavy Rain is our blue Terran player. It's going to be Jjakji from Team My Insanity. In the bottom right-hand corner, it's going to be SK Telecom 1's Rain. So it's going to be another Terran versus Protoss game. Super excited to cast a game between these two for a number of reasons. One, I think a lot of you will be familiar with the success Rain had last year. Rain has been a long-performing player, particularly in HOTS, but last year had an excellent year. I think he pulled in about $30,000 in prize pool winnings between a number of decent tournament finishes. And recently Jjakji has been performing pretty well, particularly since the start of 2014. I think he placed pretty well in IEM at Sao Paulo, and also did quite well in the Story Cup that took place not too long ago. So certainly things heating up for Jjakji, and it'll be interesting to see how things go from in 2014. So super excited for this game. Another Terran versus Protoss. We have had a lot of TVP matchups in this tournament. It's been some incredibly high caliber play, so excited to see what these two have in store for us. Very different play styles to Pult and Classic, so I'll be curious to see just what sort of builds these two players go for, and whether it mirrors the reflection in the meta game that we saw in the previous series, or whether it's a little bit different again. And Jjakji's going to be opening with a Reaper to scout, and you can see that Reaper making its way across the map here, and following that up with a Reactor, which is the current pattern of play in Terran. A lot of Terran, if they do produce this Reaper to put the pressure on their opponent, they tend to be able to follow up with that very quick Reactor instead of producing a few early Marines. A Reaper allows them to try and contain the Protoss player in their base, so it's tending to be a very safe opening for Terran players. Gives them a lot of the scouting information that they particularly need against Protoss. Protoss having a number of devious openings that can particularly punish unwary Terran players. Things like proxy oracles and quick DTs are always very viable openings in a Protoss matchup. So got to be careful, and the Reaper provides the necessary intel to try and deal with that. Rain going to be throwing down his Nexus on the low ground, so going for a relatively quick expand here. We have Warp Gate well on the way as well, so it looks like Rain is going for the economic route. Likewise, Jjakji going to be throwing down his command center on the low ground as well. So have 3 barracks opening out of Jjakji, so there's going to be a little bit more mineral intense than we'd tend to see perhaps the quicker factory route. So it's likely that Jjakji will be trying to accumulate a substantial bioforce before transitioning to grab those medevacs at around the 9-10 minute mark. Looks like Rain being very aggressive with his Mothership Core. I love players that do this. It is something that we may see a substantial change in with the patch that's going live today, I believe. They're looking to drop the scouting radius of the Mothership Core down, mainly because of things like this. It is a very versatile unit. Scouting radius is absolutely insane. As you can see, the effect it has on the Fog of War, pushing that back, and it makes it quite easy for Protoss to commit to things like Blink Stalker all-ins without a lot of risk, and without things like needing to grab a observer from a robotics bay. So certainly the decrease in sight on the Mothership Core is something that we may see have an effect. People have mixed feelings on it. People tend to think it's not as big a patch as perhaps it could be for the Mothership core, and I think we will see a difference in the replays in the coming months. I think we'll see a lot more Mothership cores being sniped at crucial opportunities, as they will now have to get much closer to the action. But we'll see if that occurs. Look like Rain's actually going to throw down a lot of gateways behind here. Actually 5 gateways coming down, 3 stalkers on the way, as well as Blink, so it looks like Rain will in fact be going for some sort of heavy Blink stalker attack. These gateways are still going to be about a minute away. Looks like Jjakji is going to be throwing down a defensive bunker here. The real question is, will Jjakji be able to read this? And in fact, we do have a bunker going up on the high ground, so very likely that Jjakji is aware of what's going on here. If we swap to Jjakji's vision, he in fact has seen the Twilight Council, so that's prompting the response that we're now seeing from him. Very hard to hold this sort of Blink Stalker playoff without a bunker, particularly with the amount of Marines that Jjakji has. Very easy for a Protoss player to exploit this with the Blink Stalker's maneuverability, and particularly with the Blink allowing them to share that shield damage quite evenly. So we'll see how Jjakji handles this. We've had some excellent play out of Rain in this series. Rain certainly having had the upper hand thus far, but Jjakji certainly is showing us that he's capable of equalising this. So we'll see what Rain can make of this attack. We have the Mothership core going to be providing the line of sight. A second sacrificial SCV, unfortunately going down to try and locate this army, and he found it, much to his detriment. Looks like Rain's going to warp in a further batch of stalkers and prepared to go. And these Marines potentially going to be caught here. A nice time walk going down, going to catch those Marines square on the field, but unfortunately the Mothership core is going to get sniped here, and that's going to put an end to this Blink Stalker play out of Rain. As soon as these stalkers leave, they will be forced to stay out. There's going to be some more line of sight needed for Rain, and we see that Mothership core being rebuilt, as well as the Templar archives going down here. So Jjakji is showing us he can deal with this sort of Blink Stalker play out of Rain, and Rain realising that he really does need to diversify his approach just a little bit. Jjakji is not going to fall prey to that twice. Very quick to pick off the Mothership core, which certainly does put an end to that aggression quite quickly, and see that Rain's unable to make much of an impression at all on these bunkers, and Jjakji actually confident enough that he's going to salvage these bunkers, so be surprised if we don't see Jjakji actually swing through for some sort of counter attack momentarily. So we have Jjakji just continuing a steady product. There they are. I was wondering when we'd see those barracks come down. Barracks number 4 and 5 generally tend to accompany the saturation of this second base. We've actually had quite a low upgrade game this game getting underway right from the bat. We actually only just have Jjakji grabbing his +1 weapons upgrade now at the 11-minute mark, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we also only have the +1 armor just starting now for the Protoss, so extremely low upgrade game. Players having grabbed some of the essential upgrades, things like Blink and Stim naturally have already been taken, but those weapon and armor buffs still are a little ways behind, so it could be a little bit of a delayed mid-game for this game given the early aggression out of Rain. Looks like Rain's going to try and buy himself a few moments by collapsing those rocks in front of Jjakji's Marines and Marauders, but the Stim going to allow them to barrel through that quite quickly. There are some Templar on the field now, so potential for storm, and a very nice storm that, along with nice follow-up storms from Rain, is going to do a lot of damage. Those Marines and Marauders managed to not only storm the original group, but preemptively storm where they were splitting to. So looks like the curtain fell on that attack, and Jjakji is going to be forced back to his base. A medevac also going down in the fray there, and Jjakji fairly fearlessly going to be expanding behind this, but needing to be very careful. It's very likely that Rain will follow up with a counter attack here, having done the damage that he's done thus far. Hallucinated Phoenix going to be scouting out to check for these expansions. We do have a Zealot scouting the potential 4th base here. The Phoenix is going to get a much more complete view of things, and we can see it make its way over the natural expansion. You can see the added production, the saturation of things here. Going to get a nice look at the main base as well. No Marines actually in position to take this down. We have an armory and an engineering bay going down. It's going to earmark for Rain just where Jjakji's upgrades are at. He's going to realise he's potentially not as far behind with the upgrades as he thought he may have been. We do have +2 armour on the way, but still no weapons upgrades as of yet out of Rain. Be surprised, and there's the second forge going down. So Rain obviously comforted by the fact that he's spotted his opponent's upgrades and realised that he is in fact nowhere near as far ahead as he could be at this point in the game. We have a large Doom drop moving out from Jjakji. It looks like this drop's going to drop right on top of these High Templar. Unfortunately, that High Templar going down before he can lay down so much of as a storm or feedback. Have another medevac actually making its way over the backside of the space. Actually going to snipe the +2 upgrade with the Forge, so that's a big pickup for Jjakji, and Jjakji's Widow Mines unfortunately camped out here behind the expansion, but unable to get in place. One of them going to burrow there. It's going to get a few kills. Get 2 kills with that first Widow Mine. A second Widow Mine in the main would provide a nice distraction as Rain pushes that force back with yet another good storm. Those High Templars are doing a lot of damage. Not a stack of kills on them thus far, but certainly, well, this one Archon has 10 kills, so I think his days as High Templar was spent fairly actively. Have the Widow Mine going down again. A Photon Overcharge to try and actually deal with this. I think Rain thought that was a little bit heavier drop than it in fact was. Observer's going to help him clean that out. And if we look at the worker damage, only 3 to 7 thus far in the game, so fairly low damage to the economy, but things like sniping that +2 armor upgrade, absolutely essential. If we look at Jjakji's upgrades, +2 weapons almost finished up now. It's going to be ahead of the armor upgrade for Protoss, so there's going to be an upgrade window along with the vehicle weapons that are going on the forge, so on the armory, sorry, not the forge. We have Jjakji moving out here. Actually got some preemptive Vikings here, which is a little bit of a surprise given that there's actually no Colossus on the map yet. We don't actually have the support bay in play presently, so those Vikings possibly going to be able to snipe the Mothership Core, and the Forge actually going down again, but unfortunately for Jjakji, focusing down the wrong Forge. He could have grabbed the armor upgrade. He may still get it. In fact, looks like he will. So going to snipe the Forge again to take out that +2 armor once more. I think this is going to be one of the focal points of this game, managing to swing into the third base as well with the main group of force, and that was a horrendous attack for Rain. So Jjakji managing to hit a nice synchronization between his main army and that drop, managing to take out not only the upgrade but the third base, which is providing a substantial portion of Rain's resources. Main base almost mined out, will be mined out within the next minute or two. And that's going to leave Rain a little bit of an income deficit, particularly given Jjakji's on 2 mining bases at the moment. His own natural and main base almost mined out, but nevertheless Jjakji will still have a slight income advantage here. If we check out the units lost tab, we see it is substantially more for our Protoss player Rain. So unfortunately for Rain, starting to pay the price of the upgrade deficiency. It is 1-0-1 compared to what has now become 2-1 for Jjakji. So substantial upgrade differential going into this coming battle, but we've seen Rain recover from far worse than this, so we'll see if he can manage to pull things together with a few more nice storms. Certainly open things up with some rather preemptive storms. He's got the High Templar in the Warp Prism for protection and for superior positioning, so we'll see how what Rain can accomplish with this Warp Prism, but I'm afraid that it might be moving out at precisely the wrong time. There isn't a lot of storm energy left on these High Templar, potentially about 3 storms, a few snipes from the Ghost going to take out those 2 High Templar, but fortunately for Rain, they weren't the High Templar that had the energy to storm, so will Rain be able to make the most out of this? So we have 3 storms here, 1 storm, not the greatest storm, some great snipes out of those Ghosts are going to force the High Templars back, and this army is just stimming its way directly towards the remnants of this Protoss army. You can see a large supply differential forming up between Jjakji and Rain. Can Rain pull anything out here? I think he may have lost all his High Templars. Unfortunately for Rain, the remainder of those High Templars in the Warp Prism, they sorely needed in that battle. So I liked his idea, going for the storm drop, always a potentially devastating move for your opponent's economy. So he knew he needed to catch up economically, but unfortunately moving those High Templars out at a crucial moment has given Jjakji the opportunity to seize this game. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed casting. I may cast some more from the Rain vs Jjakji series, or I may skip ahead to the next series. We have cast a few Terran vs Protoss in a row, and I'm pretty keen to give some equal coverage to the other races. So let us know down below if there's anything in particular you'd like to see from IEM Cologne. There was a lot of amazing games. I know the Stardust games were very popular. I do try and avoid casting games that I know have already been cast by other personalities. I like to try and give you an even coverage of events rather than just doubling up on particular videos. I think if everyone casts the same video, I think fans as a whole miss out. So I try to give you some of the great games that haven't necessarily already been put up by someone. So I hope you guys have enjoyed them. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't thus far. Hope you're enjoying the content. We've got stacks more IEM Cologne coming up right after this. So take care, and we'll see you all in the next cast. Thanks, guys.